finish. Is this working? Can I stream here? No, I can't. I gotta figure this Rumble stuff out later. Okay, guys. Just streaming, recording it for later purposes. Good, good. Time for One Piece, chapter 1086. Let's make sure it shows I'm streaming. Wait, am I streaming on here? Yeah, there we go. So, god damn, Oda delivers again. This is I think I put this in one of my past videos, like a multi-punch combo from Oda, and god damn, did we not, after last time, I didn't know what to expect with this chapter, but this is all around gives us more stuff today to mull over, multiple little things that he helped clarify. That helps clarify some stuff with. We were asking since this Egghead arc started, and so the last two chapters. Let me go pull them up quickly. The last two chapters were consecutive together, where we had Cobra finally talking to the Gorosei. It really echoes in here, doesn't it? Talking to the Gorosei, and he get this up to. He had suspicions about the world government hiding information about his great aunt Nefertari Lily, and he talks to the Gorosei in the throne room, has a private meeting there. By the way, I just realized that was interesting that he chose to go to the throne. They went to the throne room to talk to him instead of meeting in the room of authority. I think that's what Tekken calls it. I don't know if it has an official room, but it's a little thing where they sit all day and do all these, handle these matters. And right, so let me just pull this up here. So yeah, so um, I was just thinking too. When I just finished that thought, is it's funny that they made sure to have Shanks meet them there probably just before this, right? I bet that did they meet Shanks just before they talked to Cobra? It's funny. I don't think we ever got a hint of what they actually talked about, Shanks and Gorosei. They really held that off, but then we got this big thing here. I was thinking that it would have been interesting if Shanks had been there in the room of the throne room. I wonder. That makes me wonder too. Does Emu always listen to what the Gorosei are doing in their meeting room? Does he keep do they keep a table of a record, the minutes from each meeting they have? So Emu must understand know what Shanks was coming to talk about there. So, but the fact that he took out the stuff with Cobra, it seems like what Cobra was doing, you know, irritated and was more important to Emu than whatever Shanks brought up. And one more thing with that, with Emu, I just realized now that with in the scene where Emu is in his little garden area before he goes up to the throne to talk to the Gorosei and tell them about his whatever it was about snuffing out the light or something. I think they called it. One second. Coffee's done. He he was looking at the pictures of Vivi, Blackbeard, Luffy, and Shirahoshi. Now it makes more sense why he was interested in Vivi, because all the Blackbeard, Luffy, and Lily, Vivi are all D Clan members. So as much as I think, as much as Emu's trying to claim to Cobra like they're just irritation, I think Emu really is concerned about the D Clan, and he had all those pictures of them and had Blackbeard. I think he had Blackbeard, Luffy's, and Shirahoshi's sliced up, but he hadn't done it with Vivi's yet. But maybe I will see that later. So yeah, clearly, Emu is trying to keep some tabs on the D Clan there to make sure they don't become a problem. So that too, and just looking at my notes, I made a couple notes. So also while that was happening, we saw that while Cobra was there, we saw a funnier note. We saw that friggin' Saint Charles and his brother's name, I mean his dad's name, were trying to capture uh, Shirahoshi again, and this time they brought Kuma instead of that other hulking guy they had with that looked like he had the executioner, old school executioner mask that you see at guillotines in the movies, and because he starts doing it again, what's his name is this time because of the situation. How did that go down? Did I have that right? Oh yeah, here it is. With that happening this time, the same other good noble, what's his name here? Mjorsgard. He's there again, but he allows on his behalf Sai and Leo to take out Saint Charlos with their attack, and this was also the moment where oh shit, what's the other captain's name? The giant captain comes at this moment too and takes Kuma away and pulls him underground, and that's how they escaped to get him to Ivankov's island. Wait, what's the name of that one again? I gotta get that name down. I saw it here earlier. The Moro Kingdom? Moro? I know it has a different name. Wait, what's the name of that one? Uh, Kamubaka. Kamubaka Kingdom. So that happens there too, and lastly, the other important thing that happened in the last chapter is that we found out that but maybe this was related because I was just talking about Emu. Someone they CP0 kidnaps Vivi and they have her tied up, and we see the other members there again of that were part of CP9, and we specifically have Khalifa and what's his name, Jakra. Shoot, what's his name? And they're there, and they're gonna make sure they're informing the house. They're not letting her go, and I wonder if this was Emu's direct orders to kidnap her. But unfortunately for her, uh, also because Sabo was there, you know, not Sabo. Wapol saw what happened in the throne room, and he's booking it out of the castle. And Vivi takes advantage of that and gets inside his mouth or something, and they escape together. So I'm laying it all out because everything that happens in this chapter kind of just is a little finishing off of what we saw there. So, oh, one last thing too. I observed something. I was just noticing this morning when Sabo is trying to escape with Cobra. He's flung Cobra over his back into running. One of those that tail thing that we saw that attacked Cobra. I just realized this morning when I'm looking at that I forgot that Sabo is now a Logia user, Devil Fruit user, and that thing just pierced him easily. So obviously that thing, whoever did that attack, either I was realizing too because the color is dark, like the armament hockey that you see that everyone can more or less use now in the fighters in the One Piece world. That thing must have been using hockey or something similar to be able to harm Sabo in that way. Now, why won't this load? Just a second, I'm gonna load my chapter. So, come on. Upgrade. Now the chapter won't load. Come on. I have it here on this tablet. So, I'm gonna get this started now. All right, let me pull it up here. My tablet doesn't want to do it. Just a second. Is the site just down? My TC, this one won't load either. Come on. Oh, maybe the site's down. I'm using TCB scans and I can't get it to load now. Shoot. All right, let me pull up a different one. Oh, come on, just show me the manga. Come on. Wait, what's going on? Is it my internet? No, I'm live, right? You guys can see me? Yeah. All right, hold on a second. Now this chapter won't load. Here we go. Maybe this one will work. This is the other one I sometimes use. Here we go. Okay, 1 second. What's this one again? Just a second. I think the other website went down on me. I'll pull it up here. What the hell? Get over here. Come on. There we go. No, not that one. Is that? No. I want the one I usually use. Come on. Son of a shit. Why can't some of these search engines work? Stupid browser. Go to fucking Google. Here we go. Where are you? Of course. Why do browsers have different? Just a second now. Type in this thing because it won't. I can't find it. And I want to read it on my tablet. It's easier that way for me. Of course, that website would go down right now. Come on. There it is. Okay. Here we go. Good. Here we go. Okay. So, this chapter is titled. So we'll get to the chapter. This chapter is titled "The Five Elder Planets," which is actually that's interesting. Because right, they aren't they called the five elder stars or something? I gotta look that up later. So we start this chapter off with the narrator telling us that the curtains drew close on Reverie, and before anyone even found out about what happened to Cobra. So this is the aftermath of the Reverie that we're seeing, and I think we kind of got this before. Did we have to really a Reverie? Sure, Hoshi. We saw that Garp successfully got her and the family to Fishman Island, and he stayed with them a little bit and was having some small talk, and they gave him some tea and stuff. Oh, by the way, I'll get my coffee. So we start this off by seeing that Vivi's disappearance has become known to her the bodyguards, the Pell and Chaka, and and what's his third one? What's that guy's name again? Ingram. Ingram, right? Ingram. I'm gonna say Ingram. I might be wrong. Okay. And he's Ingram is beside himself with worry, and he's running around. He looks like he's sitting there near the Celestial Dragons with the pictures of Vivi, and he's trying to ask if anyone's seen her. And then we see Chaka is at the castle still, and he's demanding those guards. He's demanding of the guards, where is King Cobra? And we see Pell in his falcon form flying around, and we just see his head. So he appears to just be looking around, probably searching over the skies of Marijois for the Vivi, I'm assuming here. And then we switch over here to Vivi and Wapple at first. Actually, we get a little the narration again here showing different stowaways getting on these ships because we find that Sabo We see Sabo and oh, what's her name again? I can't think of her name now. The Kuma's daughter, Bonnie. Bonnie. We see Bonnie and um, Sabo have escaped from Rejois. Obviously, Sabo's still hurt this time, but he managed to get away. But first, we go to Wapol and Vivi, and they're actually this is something that confused me at first. I thought they were just thinking to each other because it looks like little thought bubbles, but I think they're just they're whispering to each other, but it looks like little bubbles that probably supposed to signify their voices are lowered. And Wapple's on the ship with a transponder snail, and he's looks like he's about to make a call, and he asks Vivi, "Where are they? Which ship did they end up on?" And I was trying to look up this kingdom too, because the name's familiar, but I couldn't remember which one. But it's the Aegis Kingdom, she tells him. And then he contacts Morgan, um, and he tells Morgan. So someone pointed this out before. I don't remember what. Wapple's apparently been giving information to Morgan's about stuff going on. I'm trying to think like there was a specific thing that they told about. But he tells Wapple tells Morgan's where he's hiding out. So Morgan's is already up in the air right now. After he's probably been out in the air constantly, I'm imagining, or maybe he has to sit down now and then because he's using. Looks like he's using seagulls to help propel him around, and they'd have to rest occasionally. But they've been up there. We've seen him up there since that Cypherpol agent tried to stop him from publishing a story about. Was that after this? What story was it? What Morgan's was gonna publish that was got see the Cypherpol agent to reveal himself? Was it about Cobra's death? No, that wouldn't have been a problem, would it? Um, shoot, I gotta excuse myself. I gotta yeah, just a moment. I'll be right back. Russian break. So yeah, I'm trying to remember this line where this timeline with Waffle and Morgan's meets up with where we saw Morgan's last when his ship took off after he kicked out that Cypherpol agent. So yeah, Morgan says, "Yeah, I'll come over to that ship and pretend I'm looking around for stories, and you guys sneak on here." And Waffle's like, "Yeah, okay, thanks a lot. I owe you one." And Morgan's like, "Yo, you bet you do. But this is a great story, so I'll help you out." Now we switch back to briefly Vivi and Wapple, and Vivi has yet to learn about her father's death, and she asks him like, what did you see?" And Wapple doesn't want anything to do. Actually, that's right, because Wapple doesn't want anything to do at this point. And he's like, "Leave me alone, and you go back to your ship." And she's like, hell no to that. I got a CP9, CP0 is no joke. Uh, she's like, "Yeah, now the CP0's after me. I got to get out of here because it doesn't matter who helps me. These guys will never quit chasing me." But I'm a little miffed at the way she said that because she must know that her the Straw Hats, which she's like, who pointed it out? Oh yeah, Tekking was saying she technically is a Straw Hat member, and she is their friend, and she knows they fought CP9, these same agents, 2 years ago. I don't see why she'd be. I think her. If I was in her position, my immediate uh, thing after this escaping as she's doing now would be to try to find a way to get to them to protect her. Uh, but so she still doesn't know here. She must have known though. By the time she gets to Morgan's, I'm sure she must know because Morgan's talks how she was crying her eyes out. But that's probably because she's mourning her father. But so she asks Wapple here, let me borrow your snail there. I gotta tell my father what happened, what's going on. Uh, uh, and he's like, no, you can't do that, Wapple says. And she's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? So yeah, he obviously saw how Cobra is dead, but he's so freaked out by his own life at the moment. He hasn't. He's not. He's unwilling to even tell her what's going on, and he wants to like get rid of her and escape himself. Silly goober. Wait a minute. Where's that other tab? So we switch around a little bit here briefly to a little the cipher seeing the Cypherpol agents and what's these other guards? The people they're doing a little manhunt, basically scouring the area for Vivi and Sabo. We see that very tall Cypherpol agent. This is the one I think that ends up. So this is weeks ago, right? 6, 7 weeks ago. This is the one I think that is ends up also being dispatched to Wano after this, and he's the only one that escaped from there. The what happened to the others? I know the one with the mask and the little bowler hat gets killed by Kaido, but wasn't there a few more? Did they escape too, or are they taken out by Drake? Drake and I don't know Drake and uh, uh um the other guy with the musical guy. They were fighting some of them, and so did what's his name? The other samurai guy. I can't think of his name. The one who likes who dresses up nice and yeah. I know they fought some of them, but so this is that tall one we see there briefly. He's going when he's carrying around Vivi's picture. And we see some other people going around looking for Sabo, and we briefly cut over to seeing Sabo and Bonnie stowed away in different ships. And Sabo's is obviously the Lucia Kingdom because we know he ends up there after this and then gets away. And she's on the ship of and Vivi's on the ship of this woman that what's it, the Tajin Kingdom, which had that one blonde monarch, the queen, this busty one who's I don't remember much of her. I remember her parents from there, but I don't remember if she said anything interesting. But that's the ship Bonnie's on. So I'm wondering if that ship is the one. They must be in a new world somewhere because she ended up heading to Egghead after this. Wait, Teen Kingdom, right? I was pulling this up. It's somewhere in the world. That's all this is. Maybe it's maybe. But I was thinking the new world because she ended up finding a way to get to Egghead, obviously. But so we see Sabo there. First, we see just Bonnie. She's in a little kid form, I think, or kind of younger, and she's just commenting on how she's hungry now. And man, that makes her look so sad there. And then we switch over though to Sabo. They're wheezing and trying to rest up from his escape. And he thinks back. He's crying here. He's crying over Cobra's death here too, and thinking back to his last words. And this thing, I have to make it to Lucia so I can get out of here and I can get back and do this to get to the Revolutionary Army and tell them what happened to poor Cobra. And now we switch over. So then we switch over briefly to the narration again, and we see as all these ships are leaving. About and the narrator talks about how it didn't take long for people to find out about King Cobra's passing, death, and Vivi's disappearance. And but now we switch over to this is one of the good scenes. Now we get to the this is where this is good. We switch to the Gorosei, and they are discussing Sabo at first, and they mention like he seems to have a checkered fate since he's a checkered fate. Do you mean like he has lucky? The way he said that, I'm not sure what he meant because he brings up to which one is saying this? Is that the mustache or the Samurai Gandhi? He brings up how else can he account for how Sabo's always been surrounded by people who are part of the D clan. And then another one says, I think that's Saint J. I was hoping we would be able to see to this egghead issue now, but we have to deal with this Sabo's thing first, make it a priority. So right there, I think they now are already concerned. This must have been sometime. This is weeks back, but this must be where already York has informed them of Vegapunk's research into the Void Century. So they're already trying to figure out how they're going to handle that situation. And now, what we get here too is we have Emu again talking. Emu rings them up on a little transponder snail that's in front of their, in a little table there. And this is where Emu tells them, this is where Emu gives them order to destroy Lucia. He puts out first, so I find out this weapon, they talk about using Vegapunk's invention called the Mother Flame. No, wait a minute. There's something here I gotta check. One second. I'm trying to. I'm missing something. Yeah, a little confusing here because something happens at the end that kind of counters this for the conversation. But this appears that now we're getting confirmation that the thing we saw destroy Lucia, and we're wondering, I'm still not sure if that's the same thing we saw that Gang Capone saw in 2 years ago when he was leaving into the New World. Um, um, so now, as Emu tells him to use use this thing, we just find out here that Saint J says, "Well, we haven't had a chance to use it for now, so we don't know how effective it'll be." And then the Gorbachev guy says, "Hopefully, if this experiment goes well, Egghead will change the way its response to us." So that sounds to me like they know they're sure that Vegapunk is studying the voice entry, and he's hoping they'll fess up, I guess. And then one of them says, I think it's Samurai Gandhi, like we should probably use a forest to test this thing. And then that's when Eam just talks over him all, says, "Do you target the Lulusia kingdom?" Uh, and then Gorbachev just gives a little like more like consideration, like well, there's a lot of people there, and Eam is just cut out completely like it's cut and dry here. No, that doesn't matter. No consequences. Do it. And then the tall one says, "Understood." The and he goes like this: "The world moves at the will of the creator." Whoa! I like how he said that. So he thinks Emu's the. Oh boy, they really. Okay. And then the young one says, Why would you? Why are we choosing Lucia?" And then all Eam answers is, "It's close proximity." So I don't know what that means. Close proximity to what? To where Egghead is, or just because he to something else? I know that's one of the 8 islands that Dragon Sith successfully overthrew their king. We go into that a little more here later, but and then one of them says it should be done as you say, and we get a little panel again of the giant. It looks like a giant ball of energy going crushing Lucia from a distance with the waves. Also, we get a really good shot of Eam's eyes again here, but still no other clues to help us figure out what this person looks like. Also, by the way, too, this is after obviously Sabo attacked them, and I forgot to point out that the girls they don't look anything worse for wear here. They're all dressed up in their same outfits. They're sitting very relaxed here in the room of authority, and Eam too. It looks fine. Eam's in that flower room, talking to them through that transponder sound. Nothing looks like nothing that Sabo did harmed them in the least with his fire fist. On the other hand, I wonder if it's possible if they could have been harmed if he awakens his fruit, because The fire fruit. Yeah, he hasn't had. He's only had it for some months now, probably. So just wonder if that would have been any difference. And the last thing too here we get here with Eam is he wants them to. Tells them that you make sure you get Vivi. I want her. So now it's like, geez, now I just realized Vivi now has become nearly as important as like Nico Robin for them to capture. Because now they got direct order from Eam to do this. Just looking at the streams working right. Sorry, I don't do these much. I'm just checking. Pause a second. Wait, come on, show it up. Good. Okay, good. Just making sure it looks good. All right. Anyways, so now we find out two. Oh, so those two. Then we briefly cut over to This is where we get another great piece too. The uh we see the Marine HQ and we see Kainu briefly, and he's getting reports about Aegis and uh Tenjin. Actually, those are other ships we just saw that Vivi's in one and Bonnie's in the other. Vivi and Wavo, they're in those, and those places are rebelling. And so now we get a little. Is this the narrator? Yeah, the narrator is talking about how they have their hands full here. But this is where we see, because of these rebellions, we start seeing like Marines deploying to ships to probably go help with the rebellions in those places. We finally see the other three Seraphim. We see Doflamingo, Moria, and Crocodile. And the only big difference I see here, well, they don't show one thing too. I just realized they show Moria looking like a little kid, so he doesn't look like that big fat ass onion look he had. You can tell he looks pretty thin. And they're all like kids still, just like the other four. And Doflamingo's doing like a checkered pants and some kind of Hawaiian shirt, I think. And Crocodile looks he's got the smirk like you saw him as an adult. And Moria here is laughing, and then we see the Crocodile one. He's just very kind of somber like. He's got a scar in his face. So somehow the scar from Whitebeard that actual Crocodile has is on the Seraphim. But the one thing I noticed they don't show is if he does have a hand, his hand is not replaced like a hook or something like his real counterpart. Okay, wait a minute. Is that why they say? Oh, wait. These Seraphim. I think they're saying here that the Seraphim are not being deployed to help with those rebellions, but they're being deployed. It reads afterwards. Crocodile was spotted on the Empty Bluffs Island. So did he fight with those Seraphim? So now we go back to a big scene here with. We go back to the present of when Sabo's reporting to Ivankov and Crocodile, and he talks about what happened once he got to Lelucia and how the rebellion. So the rebellion, right? So the Lelucia kingdom, right? Were one of the reverie attendees. The king and his daughter went there, and so when they got back, the rebellion was already rolling, and they arrested them. Okay, and then they find out. We see that he tells how he tells Crocodile and Ivankov how the citizens found him there, but since they knew who he was and stuff, they welcomed him with open arms. Well, obviously, yeah, this is right after, sometime after. That's right. The other captains were here, and they probably helped spark the rebellion. And it continued, and now they arrested them. Right. Duh. And then that's when he finds out about him being Salvo had found out when he got to Lucia that he was being framed for Cobra's death. This is where it gets started here. These people and Lucia are hailing him as a hero for killing him, and then he didn't say anything because he felt bad because he saw how this was inspiring them more. We briefly see a panel too with all the citizens there cheering and stuff. We see the girl. I don't know her. I think she has a name. But she's the milk girl that Ace knew too. And then now Sabo goes on to bring up on how he knew he had to contact them. Wait, so he did it. So yeah, he left. He made it. He purposely. He knew he didn't have an encryption snail, so he was leaving Lucia with the ones that he ended up rescuing from the explosion, and then Sabo does the call and makes it sound like he's still on Lucia, and then right. That's right when they're prepping. We see the Gorsa were prepping the mother flame, and they because they think he's there, they're like, oh, this is very. That's right. They said like, oh, this can't be just fate because now we can destroy him and the island as we've been ordered to. Um, so then, yeah, so it's showing him leaving for Kamubaka. And then he points out, yeah, that then Sab was like, oh, I did. As I was leaving, that's when I saw that what happened there. So then it's like Savo's like, yeah, unfortunately they saw it happen, and rightfully so. They're now more uh, the Lucians that just joined them are now going to be more than ever ready to join the cause here because a lot of them lost family on Lucia's that were left on Lucia's kingdom on the island. And now we briefly flip over to Dragon just being up, totally looking. He looks kind of angry and upset at the same time, like kind of like he said that how could they do that to these people? And now and then he goes on to he's going on here and says, what did you see, Sabo? So Sabo now we briefly go from Sabo's point of view on the ship, and he said, I saw a giant shadow come down from the sky, and then the next moment everything was gone. And then Dragon's like, what kind of shadow? What did you see? And then Sabo's like, this was an object coming out of the sky for sure. There was clouds around, but something black, pitch black, was flying through it. So now we get something interesting here too. So now Ivankov switches the comment a little bit by asking Sabo about what he heard in the throne room, and said that, are you sure that was the king? The front of the throne was named Emu. Uh, and Sabo confirms it, and Ivankov's like, this is he's like, I bear with me with this theory, but when the world government was created, another one of the sovereigns' names, the 20 kings, was Saint Emu of House Nerona. So now we got a name. Boy, I didn't even look that up. Is that a name we've heard before? I was trying to look up stuff. No. I don't even think we had that name before. Because probably haven't seen. Have we seen? Wait, that's what I wanted to look at. Have we seen a lot of the world normal names? Saint Don Quixote. Yeah, Rosanette, Sherry. I don't think so. So, shit, we got a name now of who Emu probably is. Oh shit. So then Ivankov goes on. Looks, I think he's showing them the Devil Fruit manual, and I think he's pointing out about Law's Opprop fruit, and he says, since we know there's a way that you can grant an eternal youth to someone, a power in one of the Devil Fruits, someone must have used it before. Uh, and he says like, so which means there's a person out there that doesn't need to worry about death, and meaning from aging, I guess. And then Sabo puts it together and like, so you think this is Saint Emu, the king, one of the 20 kings that I saw? What? Oh yeah, so and it's like, and then Ivankov says it could be a coincidence, but at the same time, it makes sense. Well, it could be a coincidence because maybe it's just a name sharing, but who else but a founder who's still alive would have the authority and confidence and whatnot to command the five elder star, the five elder, no, they call it five elder planets, right? And then he said because they're celestial dragons themselves and they fancy themselves as descendants of gods. So now, and then, so holy shit, we see there that, yeah, Ivankov is putting together that this is probably a, one of the, yeah, is one of the, that this is likely the Saint Emu that is the king of the world. Also, this is something I wanted to clarify something earlier, not from earlier, but a couple weeks ago when we first saw Emu was about to talk to Cobra, I kind of was thinking it was Lily, but no, clearly Lily. It's pretty clear now that Lily must have been like I briefly spoke of this in the last video too. That Lily was a hero of sorts, like a hero. Like I was thinking she was the bad guy, but she was the opposite. She tried to fix things. She saw the problems that were going to come from defeating the ancient kingdom. Maybe she felt she had been duped and joining that alliance. And then she tried to fix things, and we saw that somehow she did help by getting the poneglyphs out into the world and the places they are now. Although, too, I'm still wondering where Big Mom found the road poneglyph she has. So now the next thing here is Ivankov gets very upset because he thinks he's thinking that is a weapon that was made by Vegapunk, and he gets very upset and kind of looks at Dragon disapprovingly, like he made a weapon. He must be the only one that could have made something like that. And Dragon tries to defend Vegapunk and says he wouldn't do something knowingly like that. Design a dedicated killing machine, as he calls it. But then Ivankov says, "So what? Was it Was it one of the ancient weapons?" Assuming, assuming this is Emu, as I've thought, there must be some kind of connections. And then Dragon goes on to say, "Well, we know the ancient weapons exist because Robin told us." But and then he says, like, if Emu really has this weapon, why has he never used it before now? Oh, a lot of questions there. A lot to go over there. I'm going to be definitely going over this again at a later time. And now we get the very last scene of this of the chapter. Now we get a bunch of exposition of the narrator, and we see Rajwa, and the narration says, at present day, a celestial dragon has been sentenced to death in the Holy Land. However, this information will never be reported to the outside world. And while that part's going on, we see that some of the celestial dragons are complaining because of that they have no food, they have no bread. Oh, it looks like Oda's done a little play here on Marie Antoinette, the French queen who was executed in the French Revolution. And one of them says, "We have no bread. All we have is cake now." And it's also pointing out that the food supply was successfully destroyed by the revolutionary. Now we get the last panels here, and we finally get a new character introduced. When we see the head of these holy knights that Goro say, when did they mention them? About a few chapters ago, that they're being deployed now to help. And we see this guy, and we get an exposition. He's called the judge. They start by saying this guy was the judge over a trial for the celestial dragon who was just killed, and it tells us he was the former king of God Valley, and he currently serves as commanders of God's Knights, as the Holy Knights, and we get his name, and he's called Saint Fergaland Garling, and we see him sitting in this fancy chair I don't know if he's in a room. So this guy has an interesting look. He's got a really long hair and a long beard, and he's got it shaped so he looks like a crescent moon. and he's definitely like an older fellow, probably in his 50s. No, he'd have to be even older actually, because God Valley was destroyed 38 years ago. Assuming he was a young man then, and he's dressed in a black robe with some kind of white collar underneath, and he's got little buttons that look like the world government logo, and he's holding a saber of some sort next to him. He's armed. So, and this last scene is it's a bit sad. We find out that our friend Saint Don Quixote Miogard was the one he executed, and we see this is really pissing me off too because we see behind the Saint Garling, some other celestial dragons cheering, and the guy they have him like fucking they have poor Miosgard like it looks like he is being had been crucified. He's got all this blood by his chest, I think, and and um and it puts out the thing too. This must have been because of what happened with St. Charles, but the text box says the man who was sentenced to execution was none other than the one who chose to defend fishmen, and we get this guy speaking a little bit too. Also, the guy's got glasses, some kind of glasses, and he's got some of his hair by his ears that stick out this way on both sides. But he speaks at the end, and this guy says, "Anyone who protects scum is lower than the scum they protect." End of chapter. Also, it has a little thing. It has a little. It has that little. There's always this little text sometimes or something like Oda adds. It's like a little. It reads. This one reads, "A man who can even judge the celestial dragons." Though when they say that, I suspect that would exempt the Gorosei. They probably have the kind of They're the ones that deployed him, right? I think they. When did they bring him up again? Now I gotta go look again. We talked about him a few chapters ago because they had his picture of him, a silhouette of this guy, and people kept. I think there's still some speculation. I was looking at the One Piece Discord earlier, but I think people are assuming this guy is Shanks' father because Shanks was found on God Valley. I forget when they brought that up, when that was revealed, but Shanks apparently was found on God Valley in a chest, and so Roger found him and raised him from a little kid. Uh, Also, we're getting a 5 week break because Oda's apparently going into surgery for his eyes, and so he's got to have a long recovery. So we're not going to get anything else for a while. But holy shit, did we learn a bunch of stuff here? Also, I forgot a big important thing. When we're talking to here with the, I totally missed this because I was getting into the part about the weapon. We get the names of all the Gorosei here. So we got Saint J Garcia. We start with him again. The tall guy with the long beard, the very long beard, is Saint Marcus, and he is Mars. Then we get the one that everyone says is like Gorbachev, and he's Saint Topman Volkeri. That's supposed to be Valkyrie. Yeah, some of these other names aren't all planets like I thought they would. Then we see Gandhi's finally, and his says Saint Ethan Baron V. Nisjiro. And finally, we see the other guy is the young one is Saint Shepherd Jew Peter. Oh, by the way, they all got titles for what they represent. Like, so these guys definitely with these titles, they're definitely like a cabinet members. If you have like a president or a prime minister, and they have these cabinet members, these guys all represent different stuff like that. Saint J is the defense science. Saint Marcus is environmental. Also, this is defense science warrior god, environmental warrior god. The Gorbachev is the justice warrior god. Gandhi guy is Saint Ethan is finance warrior god. And the young guy is Saint Shepherd is agriculture warrior god. So they really so finance, agriculture, science, environmental, and then we got the guys just justice. Very interesting. I thought for sure I would see more planet names. I wonder if there's some translation there because I was assuming they also might use the planets like Jupiter, uh, Neptune, or Pluto, or I was right about Mars. I was thinking they'd use Mars, and they did with Saint Marcus, the tall older guy with the beard. But I was thinking they might use Neptune, or maybe they wouldn't use Neptune because that's similar to Poseidon. Neptune's a Roman version of Poseidon, so maybe they would use Jupiter, Pluto, and Mercury. I was thinking they wouldn't use Venus because that Venus is a female god, is a goddess. So I was thinking, yeah, so maybe like Mercury, Jupiter, and Pluto. I thought might have been used. Hmm. So we saw a shitload today. We had the three other seraphim. Also, by the way, still no confirmation then that the like someone like Blackbeard or Law gave their DNA and they could make seraphim of them. I have a feeling they didn't. Or maybe they did. That would be interesting. But we have confirmation that just the seven original warlords from the beginning of the story were the ones that Vegapunk used to make the seraphim. Uh, Also, where's this island? So I think they say here that deployed the seraphim to go after Sir Crocodile. Oh, is that just Karabari Island? Oh, is that just because they saw him there? Let's see, Buggy Town. That's what comes up. Also, is that guy? I was just rereading that. Is Kabaji? That swordsman? Is he? Oh yeah, it does say he's still alive. Uh, 'Cause I was watching his fight with Zoro the other day. I just wasn't sure if he was still around. So he looks like he is still part of Buggy's crew. Okay, so yeah, holy shit, we had a lot happen here. I'm still confused about these names that the Goro say though. Is there any translation notes here? Oh wait, can I go back to the other? Excuse me. Um, yeah, this is definitely. I'm definitely gonna be building. I gotta do some research on this stuff, and I want to come back. Oh, here's the other website's finally working. Come on, let's go back. I want to see if there's some translation notes on. Here we go. Uh, yeah. Okay. Five elder stars is being translated as five elder planets. Okay. Celestial bodies, right? There's this. Okay, let's just talk about the translation from the Japanese. Okay. Um, yeah. This is one thing I want to say is I should have known that Oda would end this chapter like he did because he made the last chapter sad with what happened with Cobra, but ended on a funny note where Wapple's wife assumed he was running away with a mistress, and it was just hilarious. And now we had to end it with a sad note to finding out the only good celestial dragon we ever met, well, other than the alive now, I should say, because Doflamingo's other family, the other ones, his parents were also good, and Rosinante were good people. The last one, I should say, last one, um, just got executed, which is also very sad. The way they show, I just realized the way they show him getting executed was the same way the other guy did from Wano. I forget his name, the one with the curly hair. And this guy here, the King of God's Valley, King of God Valley. So was God Valley some other nation? Right? If he's a saint, that must mean God Valley was something to do with, must have been some other island, I'm guessing a resort or something for the celestial dragons, and he was one who ruled over it. So he almost in a way sounds like he might have prior to his appointment to this position as the leader of the God's Knight, may have been a person who might have been on par with the Gorosei if he was king of God Valley, and that definitely seems to have a connection with the celestial dragons. So I have a feeling this guy as well. Wait, where is that? I have a feeling this Saint Figureland or Saint Garling, I'll just call it. I have a feeling this guy could know about Emu as well as the Gorosei. He just looks like someone who would not be devoid of that information. Also, wasn't that shown? Wasn't he shown before the Also, I'm gonna at this point I'm gonna probably I'll be uploading this video later. I'll probably clip it from this point on around here and put it yeah. So I'll be putting this little thanks for watching for the video. I'll be uploading this later as a separate video, so it gets out there. I'm streaming it now. I did the same thing with last week's video. I'll make sure I'll get it out quicker this time though. um, yeah, this guy is interesting. Look at that sword he's got too. He's got a very interesting guard. It has a so he's holding. It's got a very long handle, so he can have it, put two hands on it, and it's got a long metal piece on to protect your fingers here, and it connects to the back of the hilt. He's also got these tall boots. I wonder what color his hair is. If his hair is red, then the fan base is really going to jump all over this potential for Shanks of being his son. Oh boy, I gotta look up some fan art. I bet someone already has colored that in to make him look like Shanks to fit with their theory. I'm not gonna jump on board with that, by the way, because it could be important, but Oda has never been one to always make parents of other characters that important. Outside of like what he's done with Luffy and Ace, like Sabo, he's royalty, but he hates that. That affected how he became. He hated them, but like Big Mom's parents, we don't know. Kaido's parents would be interesting because we don't know still why he's got the horns. And it's like parents has not always been an integral part, I think, of this in the way we are thinking about it. So I'm not sure if Shanks will have a father. I don't know if Oda. I don't feel like Oda would go that route. If he does, I'm sure have a reason, something. But that just seems to me that Shanks having a royalty, being of royalty, doesn't necessarily matter. It doesn't. We don't think we need every character who's awesome in here to have an awesome or an interesting parent. They can be. Look at Big Mom. Look how formidable she is with her power. She was already a huge person as a little kid, and look, she grew up to be. Imagine what she would have been if she was in the Navy. Look at all these other admirals. Well, admirals who are great. They don't. We don't need to. We don't know the parents of most of them. So it just. I don't think it always matters in this story. That's my 2 cents on it, anyways. So I'm not sure Oda will go that route. It'll be interesting if he does. I want to see why he does it. If he does, of course, well, we get an explanation of why he was left behind God Valley. So, like, was this guy kind of like Judge, and he didn't want his son, or saw this Shanks as a failure? If there was something like that, um, hmm. So, yeah. Also, the way I have a query here too about something about how Dragon here says Robin told us the weapons exist, but that does that necessarily mean they're still around the other two? I mean, not Poseidon. We understand that Poseidon is a skill, an ability that is gained by the royal family the females in the royal family throughout time in the Neptune's. Oh wait, there is a King Neptune, right? There's King Neptune. Duh, of course they can't use a planet Neptune. Hold on. I just forgot about that. Wait. Yeah, there's a King Neptune One Piece. I forgot. So of course they wouldn't use planet Neptune as a duh. So they had Neptune, they have Poseidon. Shit, I forgot about that. So I was right. If they had used other planets the way I was thinking what the girl said, they could have used like Mercury or Jupiter or Pluto. I would have thought. We'll have to see on it. But um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, does that mean just because the other ancient weapons exist, does that necessarily mean they are still around? Come on, why are you doing that doesn't to me necessarily mean they're still around. Like supposedly Pluton is though. Yeah, I guess they did say. Oh, I'm sorry. Odin's grandfather says that Pluton is on Wano. But no, what I'm trying to say though is, does that mean they're still intact and operable? Are they not? Are they made? Were they made of something that can last that long? because most time if you have let machinery sit around, it's gonna decay over time. It's gonna rust. Well, plastic has its own problems, but it won't. But something like this, I'm just wondering if the weapons still are like operable. The Pluton and what's the other weapon supposed to be? Shit, I forgot. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Saturn, Pluton, oh Uranus. Okay, right. Which is the same as Uranus and what is? No, Uranus is an old sky god, right? Is the other sky god before Hmm. Yes. Hmm. Yeah, I just don't know if that's. I'm wondering if that is the ancient weapon or what. Because that's a little confusing. Because um, we see that it has to be the way it shows us. Even tells the girls how to use Vegapunk's machine. So wait, where is that chapter? Wait, why is it doing that? Stop it. Where'd that chapter go? Wait, wait. Shit. Come on. Screw off. Damn tabs. There. What does it say there? Also, I forgot to also look at how they. I noticed when they were talking after they then when they I forgot this little bit here when they were just showing the name title cards of the Gorosei. They each are talking a little bit about this about using the machine. Although no, the first one Saint J says the it's gonna take a little bit of time to get the machine up and running, but I'll make the preparations. And I humbly ask you to have some patience. We'll get it going. And then the others are pointing out. So Saint Marcus is like, huh, this is a good time. I think I see what. And he's kind of like, I think I see what Eames going for, because now those citizens have been uprising. And then Saint Topman, who's the justice guy, that's perfect for him. He's like, we may be able to make an example out of them. And then the Saint Ethan, Samurai Gandhi, he's like saying, huh, if we can make use of this power freely, then the other one, Saint Shepherd, kind of finishes his sentence by saying, we could instantly snuff out any protracted conflict. Very good point from a tactical level. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream on that now because I just I'm I'm uh, I'm blown up by what this is. Now I'm gonna be looking if anyone else. I want to see if Tekken's reviews up. I love watching his after I finish it. Uh, nope, not yet, huh? Wait, check the. Nope, he still hasn't got it uploaded yet. Shit, he'll probably get it up later because he's like 2 hours ahead of me. He's probably uploading it already. Um, yeah. So nothing new on the Gorosei other than their names and what they represent. But that was so. Hope we'll probably have to wait a while before we find anything else out about Eames too. But at least now we get more talking. So we're assured here when these episodes come out, and I'm thinking we'll see them like later this year. No, I wonder probably maybe by the end of the year. Well, I'll be very curious what the Japanese voice actor will be that they use for this. Also, I like how they I noticed uh, the way they have him talking or her talking, whatever here. It looks very much like Eam always has bold text. It's very dark when he's talking to them. So there's something there with that. Also, I just realized too, if they Saint, we know St. James going to Egghead right now. Does that mean they have decided they can still use this machine without Vegapunk? That's something too to ponder now, because we know he's given him something here. Also, I noticed there's an interesting thing here. Every time they sometimes show Eamon at Garden, he's always got the butterflies around. He really must like those. what if there's some motif there that owner's gonna go for with that? There's something to ponder over too. Anyway, I'll end this stream on that note now. Thanks for